And good afternoon, LLG. Hey, it's Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level for creating the life we've always wanted. And we are living, y'all. We are living limitless lives. Here I am, another day into our fast, another day into our metabolic optimization, another day into improving our health, another day of reversing our diabetes, another day of becoming more insulin sensitive, another day of adding additional time, additional years, additional joy, additional community to my life because I am doing something to improve my health. Hey, welcome. I welcome you to our check-in. This Pop Dwayne Wood Pop-Up Live. That's what we're doing right now. And I am now 24 hours into this week's fast. 24 hours. Yeah, we're heading down the road, so we got a little bit more to go, but 24 hours right now into this week's fast. And I welcome you, whatever platform you're joining us from, whether that is LinkedIn or Twitch or Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. Welcome to this space, and also welcome you from wherever you are. Whether you're here in the United States, around the country, or you are joining us from one of our international places, thank you for coming through and thank you for hanging out. Go ahead and drop in the comments where you're joining us from. We know we've got folks in New York, we've got folks in California, we've got some people in Ohio and Georgia and Tennessee and Pennsylvania, of course, here in Alabama, we've got Nebraska, and of course, overseas, we've got London, we've got New Zealand, we've got Korea, and wherever you're coming, just go ahead and drop that in the comments because we'd love to give you a shout out and just say welcome to the community. And just some quick things that we're talking about. And as you are joining, as you're coming in, as you are going to the channel, I want you to notice that there's been some changes on the channel. And you may have heard me say this before, but what we've done is we've streamlined the videos that are there on the channel. We've made it much simpler for you to jump in and for you to get started on this journey that we're on of improving our health and improving our metabolism. So when you come to the channel now, you will see two playlists that are there right now. There's one that says Start Here. And the Start Here playlist is a curated list of videos that we've done that teach some of the principles, teach the major concepts that we deal with here on the show, on the channel, and it is designed to allow you to jump in and get those pivotal things. If you go into the description of the playlist, you will see a link there that allows you to download a starter guide, if you will. And the starter guide helps to categorize those videos that are on the channel or in the playlist. It also helps to give you some prompts so you understand what you're supposed to be learning as you go through those videos. And at the end of it, on the last page, there is a limitless living commitment statement that you get to read and you get to say, hey, I am now taking charge of my health and I am willing to do this. You get to sign it, date it. I recommend that people print it out, put it in a frame, put it on the wall, put it on your mirror, put it on your desk so that every time you see it, you know that, okay, I've made a commitment to myself. I've made a commitment to my health. That's the first one. The second thing that you will see there is that there is a playlist that's called This Week's Videos. So all the videos that we've done for this week, all the videos that are starting with our strength, strategy, and mindset, our flagship show, Dwain Woode MD Live. When we do the pop-ups like we're doing right now, this pop-up will show up in that list. So if you want to know what are they doing this week, what are the conversations with this week, what are the topics for this week, what did Dr. Wood eat as his last meal prior to starting his fast, all of that will be there in that playlist. And that playlist is updated weekly so that when you come to that playlist, you'll see what's going on that week. If you want to know what went on last week, you'd have to go to one of the other playlists. But for this week, it is in this week's videos. And that's also designed so that when you come, if you've been gone for a while, if you're sending somebody to the channel, or you're showing up here for the first time because somebody invited you, and you want to know, hey, what are they doing? I see all this other stuff. What are they doing right now? You jump into that playlist and you get to walk through that process, okay? This same thing is replicated on DwainWoodeMD.com, which is our website. It's simplified. Lots of the stuff was taken off of there. So you'll see a welcome video from me. Well, first of all, before you even get to the welcome video, one of my favorite things on the website is the montage that you see there is a man standing on a mountain, and it is a aerial view as we circle around him, and he has his arms up because he's realizing the vast potential that's open to him and the limitless possibilities that are open up to him. And I love that visual because that's what limitless living says, that we're not constrained by the things that we think we are. We have unlimited potential to make changes and to improve our health and to help ourselves be successful long term. So anyways, that's the first thing. Then there's a welcome video on that page for me that welcomes you to the website. And then below that, there are two buttons. One that says start watching videos, which will take you back to the playlist I just talked about on the YouTube channel. And the other one says download free PDF. And that is the PDF we just talked about that helps you walks you through the things that are there. If you are tired of being on this hamster wheel, if you are like, man, I keep trying, I keep doing this, I keep doing one thing or the other, and it doesn't seem to be working, and I'm just ready to install something in me that keeps me going and helps me to be successful. The next thing that you will see is our accelerator program, which is our vehicle for implementing the things that we talk about and to get these things to be installed into you, into your life, into your routine, into the things you do as your default operating system, so that it stops being a thing that you have to decide every time, and it becomes rote, it becomes memory, it becomes that muscle memory that we talk about. The neuroplasticity allows you to just jump into those, okay? Now, if you've been walking along with us, you know we've got several things that are going on the channel. And all of this, let me pause, all of this is designed to help you be successful. We talk about our Limitless Living Health Action Plan. And the Health Action Plan is the functional health arm of Limitless Living, right here, right over here. Where is it? Yeah, over here. It's the functional health arm of Limitless Living. What does that mean? It is the blueprint. It is the checklist. It is the list of guardrails that allows you, that says, if I go through this process, then what I'm going to end up with is the product. So it's just like a blueprint. So when you look at a box and there's something that's there, right? And you say, hey, if I follow the instructions, what I get is going to look like just what's on the box, right? A blueprint. It's also a checklist. Kind of like you going on the airplane and you want your pilot to jump in, and you don't want them to just grab the yoke and just take off, right? You want them to go through that checklist, because when they go through the checklist, the likelihood that I end up at my destination, my health, is increased. But if they just jump in and just start going, then we got some issues, right? So we may not get there. It's also designed to be a set of guardrails. And guardrails are there because when you bump into a guardrail, it reminds you to get back on course. Okay? So it's a checklist. So it's a blueprint. It's a checklist. This is a guardrails. And then the final thing that I want to mention that it functions as, it also functions as some safety parameters. Oh, come on, come on. It's a safety rail. It's kind of like when you go up on a high building. Right? When I grew up in New York, we used to be able to go up to the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building, or at the time, we used to be able to go up on the World Trade Center. But there were rails there. And the rails weren't there to confine me, to restrict me. The rails were there to protect me. And so the Limitless Living Health Action Plan also functions as a set of protection guidelines, that if we walk through this process, we end up with the product that we are going to get. Okay. Now I'll come back and go down that for a minute, but let's go ahead, and I want to just say shout out to everybody who's out there, who's watching. And if you are fasting this week, not last week, not next week. If you're fasting this week, whether you're doing 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, whether you fasted already this week, whether you're doing a 16 and 8 alternate day fasting, whether you're doing a 5 and 2 or 24, whatever fasting you're doing, if you're fasting this week, I want you to right now drop in the comments. I want you to say yes with an exclamation. So yes with an exclamation. Say, I'm fasting. Yes, I am fasting. So whatever time of fasting you're doing right now, go ahead and drop that in, because we're going to talk about fasting here in just a minute. I want you to make sure that you're joining us as we go through the fasting, okay? And we'll talk more about that. Now, one thing that I told you the last time we were here was I introduced you to the what I guess I'm calling it the mascot, right? But I told you that several weeks ago someone sent me a plant, and I'm not good with plants. I'm just going to throw that out there, but a very special person in our office says, "No, I can help you with that. Let's keep it." And so my team has been looking at it. And so yesterday she came in and she said, hey, Dr. Wood, let me show you something. And so she told me what the leaves look like. She said, when it looks like this, it needs water. And I'm so excited to say that let's go ahead and we're going to pop this up. And this here it is. So this is our plan. All right, so this is well, if I can get it up there. Come on, come on, come on. Let's see. Let's grab this one, and hopefully we can. Yeah, there it is. All right, so there it is, and it is still here. It's alive and doing well. And she told me to how to feel the leaves. I guess this is called a succulent. Right, so I feel the leaves so that I can feel what they feel like. And before, when she looked at them yesterday, they were a little wrinkly. And so she said, hey, we're going to put some water in here. The soil was dry. And so here it is. Right. So here's the plant. And it is still alive and kicking. Okay. So I want to say thank you for doing that for us. And so there, oh, let's go on. I did something. And so there we are. Okay, let's come back here. Yes, and so there we are. So our plant is here, and it is functional. Okay, and it is hanging out with us. I'm going to leave it over there for a minute while we talk a little bit about what we're doing. So, well, before I do that, I'm going to go back for a minute, and I do see some of our community members out there. So let's do that. Let's say hello. I see. Let's see who we've got. Okay, there we are. And so I see Cornelia. So Cornelia says yes. So Cornelia's responding by saying yes. So she is fasting with us. Cornelia, always excited that you are with us. So thank you for coming through. And let's see, what did she say down here? See if I can put this one. She says, "Hello, Dr. Wood." Okay, hello, Dr. Wood and LLG. Um, Oh, let me go back to that because I think that was the first message that she puts. Yeah. Hello, Dr. Wood and LLG. Hey, Cornelia. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for being here in the space. Okay. So yeah, so we are fasting. We're in our fasting space again as we continue moving to success when it comes to our health. So a couple of things that I want to say. A couple of things I want to say. Number one, fasting. Fasting has an amazing ability to improve our health, improve our metabolism. Recently, I was talking to a group, and I was telling them that when we think about endocrinology, which is what I do, right? The hormone that most people think about is probably thyroid, followed by insulin. But insulin, actually, because of the sheer numbers of people we take care of, is actually probably the most talked about, the most. When I say hormone, I'm talking about hormone that the body makes, not necessarily that you're taking insulin. So insulin is a big deal, and so insulin is at the base of much of what we talk about when we talk about metabolic disease and diabetes and pre-diabetes and all those things, because it causes dysregulation when it is too much. It is not the normal amount of insulin that's in your body that's causing the problem. It is what we call hyperinsulinemia. So hyper meaning too much or elevated amount of insulin. And the hyperinsulinemia comes about because our body is in the process of maintaining what we call homeostasis. So the body is trying to stay alive. It's trying to do what it needs to do to keep you alive. And so as your blood sugar goes up, and we won't talk about why, all the reasons the blood sugars are going up right now, but as the blood sugar goes up, the body goes about trying to fix it, right? Because we know that high blood sugars itself causes damage, So we talk about retinopathy, we talk about nephropathy, kidney problems, we talk about neuropathy, which is nerve damage. So those are three of the major ones. But things like heart disease, fatty liver, obesity, right? All of those things are a function of damage from insulin, the complications that comes from too much insulin, too much sugar. So all of those downstream things. So we know that the body does not like high sugar. And so the body goes about trying to protect itself from the elevated sugar. And the way it does that is it produces insulin. And when the blood sugar goes up a little bit more, the body says, I don't like that either. So it makes a little bit more insulin. And when the blood sugar goes up a little bit more, it says, I don't like that. So it makes a little bit more insulin. And notice we keep making more and more insulin, which is above what the body was making initially. Right? But the body is in the process of trying to fix it. And when we get that extra amount of insulin, hyperinsulinemia, causes downstream problems. And that is the issue that we have when we talk about blood sugars and diabetes and insulin. Hey Jennifer, Jennifer says howdy all. Thank you for coming through. And Jennifer, another one of our community members. Thank you for hanging out with us. And Jennifer, you have not told us recently about what's going on out there. What are you eating? What are you getting out of your garden? Yeah, let us know. Let us know. So hyperinsulinemia. And so a part of the limitless living health action plan is that we use fasting as a way to manage the complications of metabolic disease. And specifically, the very first pillar that we talk about, whether it's for diabetes or pre-diabetes or fatty liver or high blood pressure or high cholesterol, is decreasing insulin. Now, you've heard me say that the pillars of reversing diabetes start with decreasing insulin. So suppress it, so decrease insulin, suppress the appetite, reduce sugar, right? That's it. But the first one works for everything. So when we're decreasing decreasing insulin, that also works for the other things that we can run into, like fatty liver or high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and all those other things. And so we're using fasting as a tool to be able to right our metabolism. Metabolism is the conversion of food into energy, the things that we eat into energy, and all the components that go along with that. Okay, so anytime there is a problem in that line, you can think of it kind of like an assembly line. One of my when I was growing up, I used to watch I Love Lucy. And one of the crazy episodes that they had, you may remember this. Her and Ethel, they're on the production line, okay? And I think it was chocolate, was it? Some kind of candy that they're supposed to be. I think they were supposed to be taking off the bad ones, and the line would continue working. Well, after a while, the line was so crazy that they couldn't keep up, and so there was dysfunction. So imagine your body, the process of metabolism. So starting with the food that you eat, right, wherever that food comes from, and then you eat the food gets broken down and digested. The body extracts the energy or extracts the components from the food. The body sends it into its mechanism for taking the energy out of it, and then it provides the body with the energy that it needs for it to function. Right? That's the assembly line. You can imagine now that anytime there is a dysfunction along that assembly line, that everything downstream from that can be in jeopardy. So it's not that, oh, something happened up here at the beginning of the line and everything is fine. No, when something happens up here at the beginning of the line, it affects everything along the line. As a matter of fact, if something happens in the middle, something happens at the end, everything gets affected. And that's the idea of metabolism. So dysfunctional metabolism is something that goes wrong along that pathway. And so that predisposes us to the chronic illnesses, chronic diseases that we talk about in our modern era. If you go back, I don't know, 100 years from before now, then the things that people died from, things that people were getting sick from, they were either getting an infection or they were having, some trauma. So that was the cause of death. That was the cause of morbidity. That was the cause of mortality. But as we come now into our modern era, they are functions of what we call lifestyle diseases. And I don't really like the phrase lifestyle diseases, because when we say lifestyle diseases, it almost says to everybody, okay, that's your problem. If you did what you're supposed to do, then we wouldn't have this. And that is not the case. Because as I said, the progression, that pathway, that conveyor belt, that assembly line, the assembly line starts with the food. And you heard me correct a little while ago. I said, oh, when you eat the food. And I said, no, no, wherever the food comes from. Because we've got to start not just when you put the food in your mouth, because that food that you're putting in your mouth had to come from somewhere. So we had to create it, we had to manufacture it, we had to farm it, we had to do, right? We had to do something to it to get it to your mouth. So it's not just what happens here. Now the body takes it and metabolizes it and converts it. But what happens to the food before it shows up on your table, shows up at your mouth, is also profoundly important as to how it functions as we go through the rest of the body. All right. So let's see. So Jennifer's putting in some stuff. So let's go back here. And so Cornelia was saying hi to Jennifer. Let's pop that up really quickly. Cornelia says hi, Jennifer. And then let's see. I'm gonna read this because I've got it on this side. Jennifer says garden tomatoes, peppers last. Um, Lots of cantaloupe and watermelon started fall. Okay, I'm gonna put that up, and I'm gonna read it from this one. There you go. So garden. So tomato, peppers, last of the cantaloupe and watermelon, started fall cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Oh, Jennifer, you're making me hungry now. Let's take that one off and let's see what else she got there. Oh, more stuff. She says sweet potatoes will be ready soon, radishes, onions. Oh, and then even more stuff. Okay, come on, Jennifer, now. She said herbs, several types of basil, dill, several types of mint, lemon balm. Oh, does it end? Does it end? There's more. Look at this. Jennifer, we're coming. She said wild plums, elderberries will be ready soon. She said, you asked. That's right, I did ask. I did ask her. Thank you for sharing with us, Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer's always good for getting us hungry. So she's always having some, I mean, good stuff, right? Good stuff, and love to hear from her when she talks. And so actually no. So Jennifer, thank you. So this is a great opportunity, right? Because I was talking about where the food comes from, and so one of the conversations for us to have when it comes to our metabolism and dysfunctional metabolism is how is the food processed. When we talk about the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, and specifically when we talk about the Balanced Bites one, the very first thing that's there, it says whole foods first. Whole foods first. That means foods that are as close as possible to when they were created or farmed or grown, as close as possible, so that when we are, for instance, in Jennifer's case, she's talking about what's on the farm, what she's picking, what she's growing. Um, when we do that, then we have a better idea of where that food comes from, right? Because we grew it, went out and we got it. When you go down to, like, we have a place here, well, several places, some farms you can go and you can get fresh fruits and vegetables in the farmers market, maybe, or you can actually go to the farm and you can go pick some things. And so that gives you a better idea of the food that you're eating. And so dysfunctional metabolism does not just start when the moment it goes in your mouth. Dysfunctional metabolism can actually start over there on the farm, because the things that we do. One of the domains of health that we talked about when we did the domains of health, remember there were 8 of them. One of them was environmental health. And environmental health is important because there are things that are in our environment that can dysregulate our metabolism, or can interrupt our metabolism, or throw a wrench in our metabolism. Mhm. One of the conversations that I had, and I was having it actually just yesterday. We have a medical student that's rotating with us, and we were talking about sugar, and we were calculating how much sugar is in a can of soft drinks. And we calculated there were so in our body, if your blood sugar is 100, normal is anywhere from 70 to 99, so we'll just round up. So if your blood sugar is 100, then that amount of sugar is 1 teaspoon or 4 grams. 4 grams of sugar, 1 teaspoon equals a blood sugar of 100. Make sense so far? Okay. Well, if I get a can of soda, not a diet can, just a regular can of soda, then what we saw on one of the sodas, and this is not for all of them, right? But they're similar. This one had between 45 and 50 grams of carbs in the can. One can. So if that's the case, 45 to 50 grams of carbs, let's even make it easier, right? Let's call it 45. So 45, right? And divided by 4, 45 divided by 4 is what? Right? That's 11. 11 teaspoons of sugar in that one can of drink. So when we drink that can, we just drank 10 times, 11 times, well, 10 times what we should have when in our normal body. And so for sure, in that case, the body is going to do what it's supposed to do. It's going to produce enough insulin to keep that number normal. And this is for people who are not diabetic or people who are talking about reversing their diabetes. If you're not on medication, if you're on medication, you now have to take enough medication to keep that blood sugar normal in light of 11 teaspoons of sugar. Okay? What do you think happens in the body when you have to use 11 teaspoons of sugar? And that's not like for the day. That's just the can that you drank. That doesn't take into consideration the cookie that you ate, or the pasta that you ate, or the bread, or the potatoes, or the rice. Now, I'm adding those things not because I think there's something wrong with them, but they have carbs. So if you're eating 11 teaspoons of sugar, there is not any room anymore in your body for the other things that you would normally eat. So people say, well, I can't eat the potatoes, I can't eat tomatoes, I can't eat rice. Well, for sure, you probably shouldn't put it in because you just had 11 teaspoons. Maybe if you didn't have 11 teaspoons, you could have eaten that potato, could have eaten that rice, could have eaten whatever it is. But because of the 11 teaspoons, that sets the body, and the sugar itself causes the insulin, of course, but sugar also has a pro-inflammatory process in the body. So not only are we now causing insulin to go up, but there's inflammation that's developing. And so fasting is a way of saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to reset. Now, you want to hear a secret? Come, let me tell you. When I fast, I'm allow myself to eat some things that I probably would not normally be able to eat because my blood sugars would go crazy. But when I fast, the regulation that happens in my body as a result of fasting allows me to eat some things that I would not normally say, okay, that's something that I would eat on a regular basis. It's incredible the benefit that happens. And that is the benefit of what we're doing right now. So if you're fasting with us this week, go ahead and drop that in the comments. It doesn't have to be an extended fast. We are on day number 1 of our fast. We just ended our 24 hours. If you did 24 hours, congratulations to you. If you're starting your 24 hours today, kudos to you. My hat's off. But if you're fasting at all this week, go ahead and drop a yes with an exclamation into the comments. Cornelia put that in earlier, and we are just excited for all that you guys are there. So Cornelia said, Jennifer, that all sounds so good. Yes, it does, Cornelia. Road trip. I keep saying that, road trip. To hang out with Jennifer, so we can get some of that stuff that she's eating there. But that is why we do what we do. Okay. Now, what does that ultimately mean for you? I want you to understand that it does not just mean that you get a good A1C. It does not just mean that your blood sugars are better. It does not just mean that you decrease the chances of heart attack and stroke and your fatty liver goes away and your weight improves. That's not what that ultimately means. What it ultimately means is that we keep you alive longer and we keep you healthier. You heard me say, I want you to personalize this thing. This isn't just about the number. This week we talked about creating our own scoreboard, our own game board. And the game board has to have, at the end of the game, a goal that is specific to us playing the game. So when I play Monopoly, and I mentioned that a couple of days ago, when I play Monopoly, my goal is to devastate everybody else who's playing. Like I want all the properties, I want the bank, I want everything. That is what we're doing. That is what we are doing. We're not just in the process of getting a number. So personalize it. And that's what limitless living is all about. That we're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plans. We're not letting anything prevent us. Nothing from outside, nothing from inside. We are going to be successful. And I get a chance to walk along with you and come aside with you, and we get to walk alongside each other. So thank you for being here. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Make sure you join us as we continue our tonight at 9 o'clock p.m. Central. We'll be on our show, Dwayne Wood MD. Tomorrow we'll be doing our check-in again, and we'll continue as we go through the week. Now, there's going to be some things that are off the end of this week because we got some time coming out. We're going to hang out with the family. So on Thursday night and on Friday, those schedules will look a little different, but we'll let you know what that will be like. But everything else up until that point, and then including video from the vault and this week in review on Sunday, those will all be in their normal spaces. For our community members, we will have our community meetup tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. So make sure you join us for that. Anyway, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. All right, everybody, have a great afternoon. We'll see you later. Bye bye. If we can stop it.